Alrighty then, everybody. Welcome to another Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Wednesday, where we are going to be showcasing the open world randomizer for Final Fantasy VI, or as some people know it, Final Fantasy III in North America. We are doing a little skirmish here of our current event that is going on, Battlegrounds, which is really, really fun. So I am joined tonight by Gar, and I'm also joined by Drinks Glue, who is in the waiting room to do our commentary. I'll probably shut up for most of the rest of this race, but I just wanted to pop on and say hi and see how everybody was doing. Gar, are you there, and how are you doing?
Gar is not available right now, but you can leave a message, and I'll make sure that he gets it.
Wow, this ChatGPT AI is really good, huh?
It's amazing how far technology has come.
Yeah, it's almost as if I'm interacting with another human being. What a novel concept.
Ain't it crazy?
We're doing some Empire Vector flag set, and we're also joined by Drinks Glue, who hopefully is not another AI bot. Drinks Glue, are you there?
I am here. I've been told before that I am a tool. I don't know if that counts as AI, but I'll take it.
I'm pretty sure that is not meant in the Edgar sense. That might be a derogatory term, so we'll refrain from calling you a tool. But congratulations on making it here to the broadcast booth. I know that you were motoring, stumbling, humbling, bumbling on in.
I was in the hotel lobby signing autographs.
Oh, okay.
I stopped before I get here, but we're here.
The big famous streamer, you know.
Perfect. So why don't you guys, Gar, why don't you introduce what the heck we're doing here, and I'll shut up and just track for the rest of the day. How does that sound? Good? Perfect.
It sounds terrible, Schwantz, because we miss your voice and we love you.
I'll jump in here or there to correct you guys if you say wrong things, or say some wrong things myself, so you could correct me and feel like you're helping. How's that?
Hey, sounds like a plan.
All right.
So tonight for you, we have the Vector flag set. Yes, that's right. The returners are knocking on the Empire's door, and they want to be let in. And this skirmish, it won't let them in directly, but it'll score some points for either side, whether or not the returners can successfully beat their way into Vector, or whether or not the Imperials will be successful in repulsing the threat. So, requirements for this. We have 7 characters and 10 espers required to unlock Final Kefka. You get a Kefka Tower skip, 13 espers. A couple of the unique things about this flag set. If you do the Magitech Factory, you get the Magitech ability upgrade. So, normally you start the game, if you have Magitech, you start with the 3 elemental beams and healed force. Completing the Magitech facility will grant you the rest of your abilities, like Terra has at the opening of the vanilla game, including the oh-so-popular Tech Missile. However, it comes at a cost, and that cost is forgetting 10 spells. The spells will be erased, and maybe you can relearn them, maybe not. You will also start with minus 10 magic power, which you can regain by killing Kefka's Tower Cell Beast. If you remember the Atma that is in the toilet cell, that is who you have to kill in order to get the 10 magic power. Otherwise, no support magic is enabled for this flag set. So, no Berserk, no Mute, no Muddle, no Stop, none of that. They're going to have to go and find other ways, maybe, of getting
we do give you scan. That's it.
Scan is very
on.
Scan is very useful.
And there's also no natural magic either. So this is a let's not do magic this type of seed, right?
Exactly. Glue, I do believe that you have run one of these before. What is your takeaway from this flag set, like as a whole?
My takeaway is that I don't like it. The lack of support magic really puts you in a pickle sometimes, because you're in a lot of in a runner's head as they are going through their seed. You're pretty much preparing for one boss, and that's Final Kefka. and support magic is going to check some of those boxes that you need for the different tiers. And with that not being there, it can totally throw off a runner's game plan. It could be a real pickle for some of our runners if they're not prepared for it.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the other things with this flag set as well is that the statue bosses, Poltergeist, Doom, and Goddess, are in their original locations, but maybe mixed around a little bit. So you might find Goddess at the Doom spot, for example. And that personally, when I did this flag set, I totally forgot that was enabled. So surprise, Gar didn't have a good day.
Surprise indeed.
But we will see how our runners handle it as we are taking off here. We do see the Figaro brothers start. Sabin and... oh, that's Gerard. Never mind, he's not a Figaro brother at all. Nobody War immediately flipping and going to World of Ruin. Albrook, which is a play that I very frequently see him do. And it's a play that very few other runners will actually do. So it can be a pretty nice, like, X factor, if you will.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Nobody War personally is that he is going to go where you would probably not go. And sometimes that pays off for him, sometimes it blows up in his face. But one thing you can count on Nobody War is going to mix it up for you.
Yeah, exactly, and it makes races with him very exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Lunar Chimera and Honeydew on a more traditional path, I would say, just stopping right into World of Balance, Narsh, looting the house there and doing some initial shopping.
Yeah, Nobody War found some earrings. That's always great to find early in his Albrook visit. A fun game I guess we could play here is we know Honeydew and Lunar Chimera are going to go the more traditional route, possibly hit up Returners and South Figaro. With Nobody War being a wild card, where do you think he's going to go next?
Miranda.
Definitely.
100% Miranda.
Only question,
if he doesn't go there, he will be disqualified.
Yeah, the only question is which world.
Oh, it doesn't matter. There's always money in the Miranda stand.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so we're going to predict World of Balance Miranda.
On a more serious note, I do actually like the with this start, I would consider going to somewhere like Thamasa and either the World of Balance or the World of Ruin. Mm-hmm. It's got a full complement of shops and a handful of chests there, and it's pretty rarely visited, so not a terrible way to go. But looks like he is going to go ahead and start with the checks. We see a very expensive item or esprit at the Tizen Thief location. And right now he is going into the collapsing house. This is one of Sabin's checks. He has to rescue the small child that's trapped downstairs.
Yeah, the good news is you can do a check here, and you can also get about 6 or 7 chests along your way, so you can turn your looting phase into progression phase as well.
Absolutely. In my races, I typically hold off on these because there are 2 monsters in a box. And there are a handful of them that are very notable. So, for example, everybody knows Katana Soul. It gives you the offering, which allows you to attack with a weapon 4 times instead of just the once. There's also a monster called Gigantos, which is the most EXP dense mob in the entire game. And normally what I would like to do is get some levels and then go in there and open up those boxes, because if I find either one of them, I'm equipped to handle it.
Yeah, that's the thing with offering hunting or Gigantos hunting. Right now, if you run the Katana Soul, you're just going to wipe. And 2, offering is, kind of situational, so you don't know if you're going to risk and get for something that isn't going to be of handy for you. And speaking of offering, looks like Lunar Chimera has unearthed some offerings in World of Balance South Figaro.
And how about an Atma weapon out of a box there too?
That's a pretty nice pairing, and a hero ring.
And a hero ring. Well, somebody is set up. That Edgar, you've got a plan for him now, and that's quite nice. I did miss what Nobody War got there. It appears to be a dead check.
Yeah, no free progression is on, and they both got Pearl Lances, rather. both both at the throne and at the collapsing house. So
well,
fun.
that's not a time to start jumping. I don't know what is.
Exactly.
All right, so nobody wars finishing up his collapsing house, and as we mentioned, he's a wild card to go anywhere. But the reason he does that is you want to get on a different. Sometimes you want to get on a different path than your opponents, and just hope that path is more lucrative or more rewarding than what the path your other runners are on. That way, you can hopefully get to the end of the seed faster.
Yep, and I do like that strat as well. Lunar Chimera found a cat hood in the shops, and I think Edgar was able to equip it. So
Beautiful.
it's a very, very good hat. It'll have basically every elemental attack, in addition to doubling the amount of money that you get from each battle. So at a high enough level, that Katana Soul that we were mentioning earlier will give you max gold, 65,000. That will actually get doubled, so you can wind up pulling 130,000 gold from that fight. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, and finding that early is huge, because you have the Imperial Camp check, which is gonna give you 4 encounters, and you're gonna double the gold from all of that. And then if you can come across some characters with some more random encounters outside of the bosses, that's just gonna pile on with him knowing where an offering is. He's gonna have no issue coming back to it later with a fat wallet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Honeydew, in the world of ruins, Figaro finds a dragon horn in a pot. So that combined with that Pearl Lance, as long as we can find a pair of Dragoon boots or a jumping character, well, that's somebody else's offense figured out.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very nice.
And we got a little bit of a sync going on with South Figaro. Nobody War went back to the known path, if you will, finding a gem box down there that will give him some serious GP later on.
Yeah, gem box is one of those items that I used in the vanilla game because you pair it with the economizer, and hey, it's 2 spells. In Worlds Collide, gem box is I would say it's more valuable as a pile of gold than it is actually as a relic. It's pretty rare that you would want to cast 2 spells, especially because it blocks out your Esper slot, or your ability to summon Espers, and that is pretty detrimental. So you can sell it for around 20k-ish, maybe more. And so you buy a lot of good stuff with that.
Yeah, there are some uses for it. In some of the other Battleground flag set, Ultima is available, and then Ultima, with gem blocks just isn't fair. That's why we block Ultima for most flag sets. So it's not 100% worthless, but it's 98%. Most of the time you're not going to use it, so.
Lunar Chimera, now in World of Balance to Zen, sees that it is an Esper, and it's bargain bin at that. Looks like 5,800. So
beautiful.
Gonna sell some things, and
I love a good bargain.
Right? Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. On sale. And Nobody War taking some encounters down here in the basement.
Yeah.
Did he pick up Revivifies? He sure did. So
beautiful.
These Schwantz 27 in chat asking, do we know what commands the Figaros have? I did not see at the beginning, and also I didn't look there. So
one of them has health, the other one has to be determined. But we do know Nobody Horror has Revivifies, and that's what's important right now.
Pero in chat, coming through clutch, health and capture. Very, very nice. And by very nice, I mean kind of bad.
Yeah.
Health is okay, but you really want to see health stapled to a character that has more base magic power.
And then capture, and this flag said it is there is no random steals, I believe. So everything that is can be stolen is going to be default. So there's only a handful of things that you would openly want to steal from. Inferno, maybe Daddy Luma to get a Genji Glove, and the statue bosses, which will all have something to note. But by the time we're going to reach the statue bosses in this scene, we're probably going to need whatever they have to offer, except maybe the Minerva.
Yeah, Minerva might be good. The Red Jacket might also be good if they wind up with Merton strats needing to get online. But right now, we've got that ammo weapon. It looks like Sabin can actually equip that, which leaves Edgar free to hold that Pearl Lance. And again, if any of our runners find Dragoon boots and that Dragon Horn, they're going to be set up there as well, which is very nice.
And it looks like Honeydew's going to get his own cat hood as well.
And Lunar Chimera looks like he's going to take some grind fights outside of Tizen, finding the Behemoth Misfit fight, which is actually pretty EXP lucrative. It's not bad. I think at this point, what I would do is go to the Imperial camp. It's one of Sabin's checks, and there's 4 encounters there. So,
and that's a mistake right there by Luke and Mary, in my opinion. That Atma weapon isn't going to be of note until he's around level 32. Right now, when he swings it, he's essentially swinging the Mithril knife.
Yeah, basically. You can use it a little bit earlier than 32. It is nice because it has the property that it ignores defense. So there'll be some instances, like level 20 or so, where you can swing an Atma weapon and it's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, the Misfits are actually undead. You can kill them with Phoenix Downs and Revivifies. But Lunar Chimera, opting to do it the hard way, wants to get the workout in.
Yeah, this is going to be a long fight, unfortunately. While you had mentioned it, Behemoth Misfit is EXP dense, if you will. It's also going to be a little bit higher on the HP side of things, so this will be a little bit longer fight for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Nobody War looks like he is parking outside of the camp, and he will begin to do that. And we'll see what's there. You can get unlucky and get some fights where they don't reward experience. There are a handful that do that, but it's pretty unlikely.
And that Esper he just threw on Fenrir does have Bolt 3, so that's very juicy to have.
Oh yeah, it's very nice.
Once he learns that, he'll be able to one-shot most things in the world.
So, Glue, with this flag set, you start with the -10 magic power. Mm-hmm. What would make you want to go and kill the Toilet Atma in order to get that magic power back? Is that Bolt 3 going to be good enough for you?
It's going to depend on what else you unearth throughout the rest of the seed, because there's a decent chance that Sabin doesn't have the most robust equipment pool of things he can wear. He can wear that Atma weapon in this seed, but typically he doesn't. So Sabin is a candidate to get replaced if he doesn't have a good ability. So if he gets replaced, it depends on what you're replacing him with, or what any other higher magic users you come across that you're banking on that extra +10 magic power coming back. But obviously, if we got the Atma weapon, we know where some offerings are. We have Edgar, who has a very robust equipment pool of the better swords in the game. So there is a decent chance that this offense in this seed is going to be very physical heavy. So if that turns out to be the case, there's no point in doing it unless you want your health to do an extra 200 HP healing every turn. So a lot of it's going to depend on what we find later on.
I think that's a fair assessment. I think with Bolt 3 I'd be tempted, especially because killing Toilet Atma also rewards you with a high tier item. Mm-hmm. But we can, so far, lean pretty heavily into the physical side of things. Atma weapon offering is an in-game combo right there. We have a spear and a dragon horn, so as long as we can find a nasty encounter here for Nobody War.
Yeah. Oh no, he needs another block. Clutch. That is beautiful, Sabin.
A little bit unlucky in a seed with no free progression turned on. Getting an ice shield there, definitely not the worst piece of equipment, but a little surprising. Normally, you can expect that to be a character or an Esper pretty reliably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and no free progression, and the spots that could reward progression, only 4 of them are going to contain a death check like that. And that's pretty unfortunate on your first one to stumble into it and then get smacked with the ice shield. But the good news is he's highly unlikely to come across another one later on.
That's very true. Nobody wore getting the stray cat encounter. Just
Beautiful.
in case you. Yeah.
He's trying to save some gas money with the walk and just take a counter on the way, I suppose. Yeah, Honey. Yeah, Luna Chimera is still going at that behemoth. Honeydew's, far along on the Imperial camp now, where he's going to unearth his ice shield here in just a moment as well. And the next spot of progression I guess we're going to find is Phantom Train when Nobody War finishes up this fight. A beautiful commitment here from Luna Chimera, by the way. A lot of people would have bailed out on this, but there's something to be said for a man or woman, and they set their sights on something and they stick to it. A lot of people would give up, but there's something to be said for this level of commitment to completing a task.
This is something that I would do, honestly, just because I'm stubborn. And hey, there it goes. 2,300 experience, and yeah. So
it's really a matter of principle at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
If I've already done, this happened to me when I ran one of my weekly battlegrounds this week. I went into Coliseum and there was something available and that I wanted, and the fight was Scullion, and I was level 5, and it took about 4 minutes, but I won, and that's all that matters in my book.
That's true.
Yeah.
Honeydew unfortunately getting seized away by the chitinid there. Kind of an annoying fight if you don't have magic available to take it out. And does not find the ninjas that Nobody War did coming up against some first classes and wild rats.
Yeah, pretty fortunate. Ninjas are pretty deadly random encounter that you don't want to see.
Not at all.
Not the worst, but probably top 5 and ones you don't want to see.
Any of like the dancer sprites I don't want to see. So Soul Dancer, whatever the one is in Zozo. Is that Soul Dancer? No, that's a different one.
Slam Dancer, and then the Outsider, Madams. The enhancers come flying at you as soon as you load the screen.
Outsider Madam. Oh yeah, that's a rough one. The top 10 scariest things to ever witness.
And Nobody War is finding Golem in the Caboose and the Phantom Train. That's fantastic because that's 2 pieces of Columnus protection right there. So you can store that Golem and use that for Tier 3 on Final Kefka, and your Fenrir can come out in Tier 2 and save you a little bit of time and effort so you don't have to eat 10 hits to the face.
For sure. Honeydew also going to take the B-Core Stray Cat encounter here. Beautiful. But he is parked outside of Barren Falls, so he is going to take a dive.
Here's my question, though, because for Nobody War, because this airship is by Imperial Camp. Is it? I've never seen this before. So is it going to transfer down to him, or does he have to walk back through and go to the other side?
I think it's actually going to transfer down to him. I would hope so, anyway. I've also never done this. I've always just parked the airship at the bottom, gone up, and then done this.
I know if you park it on the north side by the spring, the healing spring, that it will come down with you. I just don't know if that will trigger when it's all the way up by the Imperial Camp. Schwantz is saying it is, but we'll bookmark that one away, and we'll call him a liar later if he's wrong. We'll let him have it.
Nah, I told you that's what I'm here for.
He
is to make ridiculous statements.
And if he's right, we'll never bring it up again.
Nah, I trust him implicitly.
That's a bad idea. I don't know. You got me second guessing myself now.
I think it will. I think the trigger for moving the airship back is killing whatever boss is here.
Yeah, I think so too. I couldn't see a way where it's coded that it has to be like on the other side of that bridge where it would come over. I think the boss, or there's something else that triggers it. Completing this trick triggers it and brings it over.
Honeydew gonna perform the swan dive.
Beautiful.
Lunar Chimera found ninjas, but he is not in the Imperial camp.
Yeah, and he also has that behemoth fight under his belt, so as long as they don't invisible themselves, he can take them down.
Honeydew reset. I did not see what boss that was.
Knock, knock, knock.
I assume that meant that was a cue that it was the Stooges.
Yes, I'm an old man with old references, so
Okay.
yes, that is.
Okay.
Oh god, that is such a weird sprite when it's mirrored like that.
Oh yeah.
Number 128 on Nobody War side. It can be kind of a rough boss too. I don't think that Nobody War will have any difficulty with this, but
Yeah, that's the nice thing about having health early. As Perro was pointing out, it's number 821 now. It's not longer
821. He's gotten some revisions.
And left is right, right is left for the blades. That's the nice thing about having health is all those 20 attack damages that would normally eat you away. Slowly you can just spam a health and you're right back at it, and you can go back to ticking away number 821's health.
Cracking a fire rod here, absolutely agree. And Honeydew opting to go climb Mount Colts.
And Luna Chimera's found another rough fight.
Yeah! He is in the desert surrounding Figaro Castle, so we're going to go and pick up his Pearl Lance.
Yep.
And speaking of Pearl Lance, how about a nice proc there?
Beautiful.
And ooh, a Dullahan atop Mount Colts. Not a terrible fight, but he does have a fair amount of HP.
Yeah, you saw with his Bolt 3 cast that was only a 400 damage Bolt 3. That's part of the effects of having +10 or having -10 magic power taken from you, and then not having a great magic caster.
Yeah, exactly. But these Pearl procs putting in work.
Beautiful. Nobody War is done with Phantom Train, and he'll probably go straight to his Stooges encounter next to the waterfall.
This is an interesting path. I have never seen anybody do this, and I kind of like it.
I love it.
Now we just need Locke to do the chocobo from South Figaro to the cave.
Yeah. Just think about how much better Nobody War is leaving the world behind them by not, having all this extra waste and smog come out of the airship like you would an automobile. So I'd imagine the airship.
Conscious.
Yeah, it's very environmentally. And speaking of that, he's jumping off the left side of the waterfall. I've never seen that before.
He's putting on a show.
Yeah. If you have not, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna throw it up in the chat for you. There, come on, bot. Okay, maybe not. Well,
Maybe
the good
not.
news about Nobody Wars is his Twitch handle is very easy to spell. It's Nobody War. So give him a follow. We appreciate him running for us, and we appreciate all the crazy things he's doing. Jumping off the left side of the waterfall, taking a stroll around the world like he's playing Final Fantasy V.
It's a good game.
Great game.
And one of the other perils, too, of relying on something like Bolt 3 this early is that you don't really have the MP to support it. So, Nobody More gonna be able to get through this, I do believe. Not too much must, but might take him a little bit. And we just found a Setzer with Magitech stapled to him.
That's very nice.
That is very nice. Setzer opens up a fair number of nice quick checks.
Yeah, you can do all of Setzer's checks in under 5 minutes if you really put the pedal to the metal. And head over to that part of the world. Just click the button, will get you Search the Skies, and you'll be able to take on the Doomgate spot. Pop into College and Inn, where you find him in the World of Ruin, and that's where you can get his second check, and then hold down X and skirt on over the Daryl's tomb and fly through that, and that is his third and final check that he unlocks. So all very quick, are very fast, right next to each other if you desire.
Yep, absolutely. Honeydew in the world of balance. Ooh. Finding the juice.
Beautiful.
The juice in World of Balance, Thamasa.
So that was an offering I saw. What else? Was that it?
That's all that needs to be.
Okay, I didn't see the barrel by the end, but I was just making sure he didn't come across, some scrambled eggs.
Nah. Eggs would have been super cool, but I think it's just a relic ring. Just makes your body cold. Finds thunder rods though; those could potentially be useful. And yeah, he opts to buy a couple, and nobody wore. Just wrapping up Larry here, no problem. And Lunar Chimera gonna get some more experience here, and they're gonna get their Ice Shield as their fantastic reward.
Yeah, looks like Honeydew's going on over to the older ruin, and he's gonna start doing some of the goodies Setzer has to offer.
Can't blame him. A third Pearl Lance, my goodness.
Unbelievable.
I mean, it's money? I don't know.
It does give a nice stat boost if you come across a realm and she can happen to wear it. You don't have to worry about
the dream
paying for an enhancer.
It's lock for nobody war.
It's
Give
lock.
us the chocobo.
Will he do it? Will he be a man of the people? Was that runic I saw on him?
I believe so.
Okay. No chocobo.
But that's fantastic for nobody war, because if he can come across some high tier shield or high tier swords, that's another party member that can by default has a great pool of items that they can equip as far as offensive. Actually, the best in the game with having default access to the Valiant Knife.
Absolutely. And he's going to get a peek at 2 high tier items here, in addition to the Paladin Shield, which will take anywhere from 3 to 14 battles to decurse.
So are we going to keep it Pearl Lance, or are we going to make it Pearl Lance?
Don't put that evil on him.
What are the odds of it being a repeat item? Well, it should be not Pearl Lance exactly, but it's just 1 in 34, because there's 34 high tier items in the pool, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just 1 in 34 for that to happen.
Yeah, and then you square that, and then that's the chances of it being a choice between Pearl Lance and Pearl Lance.
So I don't think it's going to be double Pearl Lance, but definitely Pearl Lance is going to be one of the choices. I am 100% sure.
Ooh, a 4-fight curse shield too. That is very juicy.
1.47%.
So it's definitely going to happen.
Come on, Pearl Lance, Pearl Lance.
Aura Lance. Okay.
Close, but
taking the Ice Shield, definitely the right call there.
I thought he took the Aura Lance, or maybe my screen jumped.
Did he take the Aura Lance? I don't know. I thought it was Ice Shield.
I think he did. Well, we'll see what his inventory says. He's doing it for the memes at this point.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind he hasn't found his Zetsurk, so he doesn't know there's a third Lance waiting for him of the Pearl variety.
We find Guardian here in Daryl's tomb. Not the worst thing when you've got Bolt 3 and Bolt Beam.
He's got Bolt 3, Bolt Beam, and a couple Thunder Rods, so this shouldn't take very long.
No. But
with
once
that
again...
said, he'll wipe to it with that said.
No, he won't wipe to it, but it is kind of a big pile of hit points, so... And he picked up 3 Super Balls, looks like. 3 Super Balls, 2 Thunder Rods, and a Partridge in a Pear Tree. Should be no problem getting this down.
And Yeah, nobody took the Aura Lance because we just saw the Aura Lance was available to put up the fight for Flame Shield, but he's not going to do it, and I don't see why he would if he passed up an Ice Shield to get the Aura Lance. Actually, it looks like he's unequipping everything just to see if there's anything juicy. Nope, of course I'm mistaken. He's just re-equipping.
And yeah, you were right. It is.
We're both right.
Nothing terribly exciting in the Coliseum. I did see a fire rod, but I didn't see what you had to trade for it. Honeydew taken down. Guardian getting his Palador. Somewhat disappointing.
Palador does have fire too. That's a little more elemental diversity for Honeydew. Not that it matters because he has access to Fire Beam, Ice Beam, and Volt Beam.
It'll be nice to have if he runs into something like Tritalk, maybe. Lunar Chimera, meanwhile, going through the spooky choo-choo train.
Yeah, Lunar will get his golem for his effort after he defeats number 821 at the end of this. And looks like we're getting a South Figueroa Cave visit from Honeydew.
Yeah, and he's going to some out-of-the-way chests, too. It's pretty rare that you see any of these, which is pretty cool.
Actually, if you ever watch an Obi of Legend stream, Obi will always go for that chest on the bridge on the left side, and that's going to be Gao down there blocking the way to Ancient Castle, so that's another character for Honeydew. That will put him at 4 if he's able to complete this. All right, my cheeseburger friend. At this point in the race, we just crossed the 31-minute mark. Gar, who are you feeling's carved out advantage of himself right now over the first 30 minutes?
I think it's got to be Honeydew. Honeydew just saw his 4th character, and we know that we know where a 5th is. So whenever Honeydew decides to come back and do
the waterfall,
Stooges at the waterfall, then he'll have his 5th.
Yeah, the nice thing about Gao is Gao's checks are going to be proximity to that waterfall. You can literally do one and then step off into another.
Yep. Another boss that is weak to Bolt, the Air Force. I have no idea how they managed to cram the entire Air Force in a castle basement.
Well, you build it down there. You take it apart piece by piece and rebuild them.
I'm a museum style. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Takes it down, no problem. Good to run into Air Force early because later in the game he scales up. He's still very frail, but he has a lot of very nasty attacks that target the whole party.
Yeah, he has a couple fractional HP attacks as well, so it doesn't matter if you're super overpowered at that point. Fractions are going to fraction, and then if he follows that up with a debilitating AoE, he can wipe you even if you're feeling pretty good about yourself.
You haven't lived until you've seen Launcher in the Shrapnel.
You have not, and we're getting a Phoenix Cave check here from Nobody War. I like this play, and this ties into what we have said about him all night. Nobody War will go to the checks nobody else likes to go to sometimes, and Phoenix Cave is one of those checks that you fade because it takes a little bit of a long time to get all the way through it. You got to navigate both parties. It's just one of the longer checks in the game. And unless you take the dragon down here, you also don't get a boss fight to gain any levels. So not a lot of people come here unless they're forced to.
I like to do it early. Like if I have a lock start, I don't mind doing it early because there's a fair few chests in here that you can loot. In the vanilla game, most of these are empty here. Usually they're going to be filled up with something, but it does take a little bit to navigate. later in the game, I don't mind so much if I have plans to kill the dragon. And I mean, later in the game, if I'm not killing the dragon, I'm probably doing something wrong.
And looks like Honeydew was gonna follow up his Gao check or his Gao find with another trek down a little bit lower into the world and see what we can find at the ancient castle.
This is my favorite location in the whole game.
Schwantz, what are your thoughts on the ancient castle?
No comment.
I've always loved this place ever since I was a kid.
I thought it was so cool when I figured this out on my own.
Yep.
And
that's exactly what it was.
So, question for you guys: now that at least 2 of our 3 runners have an offering, are we going to see a second offering? Are we going to see anybody look for
another
monster in a
offering
boxes?
for a Honeydew?
Yeah, I guess we're not gonna look at monster in a box.
Yeah,
anymore, right?
If you're Honeydew, absolutely not. Maybe if you're super thirsty for Gigantos or something, or the money from the Katana Soul, but otherwise, nah.
If you're sitting on 2 offerings and you know where one is, it's just a time waste to hope for Gigantos. You can just go kill a dragon.
Yep, speaking of, we did just find a Magpie +2 Esper.
That's beautiful.
I think that's just going to roll with that the whole seed. Honeydew is immediately making me a liar.
And Nobody Warriors finishing up Phoenix Cave here. Let's see what he gets. It's going to be an Esper. And it is Tellus Merchant Carbuncle.
That's going to be clutch for the Poltergeist fight.
Yeah. You could wall yourself, and then when he casts Stop, it just goes back on him. And Poltergeist is vulnerable to Stop, so you're not going to learn it naturally because there's no support magic. But if you can get him to throw it on himself, it's a why not situation.
Absolutely. Storm Dragon down here immediately decides to take a crap all over Sabin. Ooh.
Yeah. Oh no. I don't think he saved before he came into the rest of the castle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
I don't save at
Okay,
that
yep, and
spot
there's-
between the underground and the castle, but I'm a fool, so
He did save, but he was never going to be able to financially recover from that.
okay, so he did save.
I would be tempted at this point to just try again. You've got Bolt 3. Bolt 3 is going to take him down in a couple of strikes. One trick that you can do is actually fight the dragon before you get this Esper here. He's scaled down just a bit, makes it a little easier to manage.
Yeah, but he knows that Esper is +2 magic power, so he could cost himself 4, 6, 8 levels worth of, or excuse me, 4, 6, 8 magic points on a character. I think he's going to grab it first, and he does.
Yeah, hard to blame him either way.
Did someone say Miranda?
And we got a Miranda sighting from Luna Chimera. We love it. And what does he get? He gets an X potion for his visit. We'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's always money there. So Luna Chimera, congratulations. You have won the seed.
As you say that, Storm Dragon takes down Sabin again, and Storm Dragon's making his argument for being the winner of the seed if he can take down Honeydew again.
Sabin may just have to not be alive for this, which is unfortunate. You really want him to have the levels, but
It's all right. We can get it back somewhere else. As long at this point, if I'm Honeydew, I wouldn't revive a single character. It would just be a who could kill who first. And of course, as I say that, he's going to pick Sabin back up.
Yep. Stone. Oh, this is the worst ability in the whole game.
Yep. Uh-oh. Alright, so that Bolt Beam didn't wipe Gerard, but this might.
Yeah, on board with this. You've got a Chuck Super Ball. Oh my gosh. Minimally rolled Super Ball. What a terrible RNG.
And so Storm Dragon is about to take a 2-0 lead in the series versus Honeydew. We'll see if we get a game 3 out of the 2. That's an awful feeling, because at this point in time, if you're Honeydew, you see Storm Dragon and you're like, oh great, I have Bolt. Which is what Storm Dragon does not like. This should be relatively easy. Take down a dragon, get some juicy levels, and juice up his Atma weapon user for later, and then get the back-to-back wipes. That's just deflating.
Yeah, it's got to feel pretty bad.
So Schwant's calling out in the text chat about dual hand. One of the cool things about dual hand is that in the vanilla game, you can steal a Genji Golem for him. The only problem is you don't have access to lock or any item that will give you the ability to steal. So there's a Genji Golem sitting for you right there on him when you fight him in Daryl's Tomb. There's just no way for you to get it. But in Worlds Collide, you can possibly have access to steal. So if you know that when you come across him and you have steal, you can use that to get an extra Genji Glove, or to get a useful Genji Glove period for your seed.
You get a Thief Knife in World of Balance Zozo. Can Setzer not equip that, or like Celeste or anybody?
There is no one that can equip that. So he has it. There's just no way to steal it from him without a Game Genie. Or,
got it.
Or throwing a piece of software onto your file that will not be named and playing Worlds Collide. And it looks like we're getting round 3. Storm Dragon holds a 2-0 lead in this series. Honeydew just needs one window to close it out. And he's off to a pretty good start because he hasn't eaten any AoE attacks that wipe Saban. And he's able to get a couple attacks off. If I was him, I'd have all of his characters throw out some Super Balls. Yeah, that's about 4,000 HP.
He should be dead here momentarily, I think.
Yeah, he shouldn't be alive too much longer. So even if he does send out a Gale Cut, Honeydew should be just fine here. Yeah, not trusting the RNG from the Super Ball.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right, Nobody War picking up his Magisetzer.
And let's hope Storm Dragon's saved so he can roll right back into that fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is a best of 5 for Honeydew, so he can't rest on his laurels yet.
And a Magus Rod for his effort. That's going to be pretty useful if Stetzer can wear that.
Yeah, I think it's equips plus 50%. Unfortunately, he cannot wear it, but he can wear a Pearl Lance, which will do a pretty decent impersonation of a Magus Rod.
I guess when you have Pearl Lances at the wazoo, it doesn't hurt to just throw one on.
Might as well.
Might as well. And Luna Chimera not having as fun of time with Air Force as Honeydew did. He's fighting him with only 2 characters, and Honeydew had 3, and plus just a robust pool of thunderous abilities to throw at him. But Luna Chimera is able to get through it, and for his efforts, he'll get Gao. And if Luna Chimera follows the same path, we may get to see a Storm Dragon rematch against one of our runners.
Yep. So as...
Oh, and that... Sorry to interrupt you, but that's Dragon Boots for Nobody War and whatchamacallit, Nakia.
All right.
So he has his horn, he has all the spears in the world. Edgar's about to become a very viable jumper.
Pogo Stick Edgar.
Yep.
We see dueling Castle Rising from the Sand cutscenes, but Honeydew is leaving, and Lunar Chimera on the way down. So
Yeah, so nobody wore. He has his Aura Lance from his lock decision earlier. Because he forewent the Ice Shield. He has an offering, he has an ammo weapon, so that's two very, very strong physical endgame characters. And as we said earlier, are you thinking about going to that ammo spot in the toilet and getting your plus 10 magic power back? With those two characters, I'm thinking he's going to be leaning towards no, not doing that extra time just to buff up one character 10 magic power. And the third Pearl Lance for Nobody Wars. That's a great feeling when you find the third one.
I think that's exactly what Honeydew is doing. Gonna go take out Toilet Atma, get his plus 10 magic power. I don't hate it. You've got Bolt 3, you've got a magic power plus 2 Esper.
Yeah.
It's often.
The reason I wouldn't like this is if he gets down here and if he can't kill it, that's kind of awkward because then you're like,
yeah,
where does he go from here? Because he was probably banking on that because you do get the 10 magic power back, you get a high tier item,
well,
and of course it's tunnel armor, so
it's tunnel armor. I guess it's fine.
Yeah, beautiful.
Cool too because this guy will drop an elixir for him, so not bad. But definitely a very risky play from Honeydew. I would not feel comfortable doing this without a full party. So props to him.
And we'll see here in a few moments if Lunar Chimera is going to give us a Storm Dragon rematch.
I don't think Lunar Chimera has found the Thunder Rods or the Super Balls, so I would be a little surprised if they did that.
Yeah.
Just pointing out Honeydew getting a Mario hat. So not the most exciting thing, but it's extra HP.
I think Lunar Chimera is going to take him on. Oh, he's trying, and it is round 4. Ooh, and Wind Slash comes out first thing for Lunar Chimera, putting his team in a bit of a pickle. He can't survive another with his saving.
Honeydew, when he reformed his party, went to 3, so he can go and do this check here. Feed the beef jerky to the soldier here on the belt.
Yeah, he's gonna get his 5th Esper. Let's see what Phoenix does for him. Bolt 2.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. He really needs some more bolt abilities.
Yeah. So probably going to be taking a dive in the Serpent Trench.
And I think he still has one of his Pearl Lances, and he's found the Dragon Horn as well. So if he goes through the trench, he'll find his Dragon Boots, and he'll be able to convert one of his characters into a jumper if he desires.
Yeah, and I would be... I would be kind of shocked if he didn't do that.
Jump can take a little bit of a longer time to pull off, but jump is a fantastic ability for one-on-one fights. In Kefka's Tower, when you have to split your party, obviously you can't be attacked or hit while you're up in the air, and you do a decent amount of damage. It just takes a little bit of time. But the cool part about, again, being up there is you can't take damage while you're in the air, so you can bypass a lot of attacks. And that's really useful in a 1v1 fight on a side in Kefka's Tower. And knowing that the statues are shuffled and one of the nastier bosses in the game is waiting for you right there, I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah, 100% agree. And jumping is especially useful on something like Goddess, who has basically no physical defense. So if you wind up putting your jumper in on that path, or actually just doing the opposite of that, making the person on that path the jumper if it isn't. Yeah, very, very, very effective that way.
Yeah, and then through the rest of your seed, your jumper probably won't be your primary damage, but it makes for a great third or fourth character as well. You can let your heavier hitters go off, throw a jump up there, and just let it run its course while it's up in the air. You don't have to worry about menuing or do any animation time with them through any abilities.
Yep.
And nobody's war trying to take some grind fights down in South Figaro Cave. I assume to do his curse shield.
Yeah.
And he's either getting super easy or borderline unkillable encounters down here, which is kind of frustrating because you like to at least see some of the middle tier ones that will get you some experience.
Yep. LC made it through Ancient Castle just fine. A little bit of that hiccup with the Storm Dragon, but able to take it down no problem. So going to gain a little bit of time over Honeydew. And
we got sushi on the menu for Nobody War at South Figaro Cave, which is one of Locke's checks. Pretty fast check, and you get the free healing by the water spring that happens to be on the path there. So it's a pretty popular check for those that come across Locke. And looks like Luna Chimera went up into the castle, and he's going to find some discounted super balls in the item shop inside Water Ruin Figaro Castle. But he passes up the opportunity to get some.
I think that's fine. I think you've got enough offense at this point to where you don't really have to worry about that. Nobody War, meanwhile, finding Mog in the South Figaro Cave. That route's pretty cleanly because Narsh is right there. And you get a nice quick series of checks.
Yeah, you typically do, but Nobody War says no thank you, and it looks like we're going to go do some of Setzer's checks, excuse me.
And Nobody War finding Ultros again. He just has not had enough of the octopus. And Honeydew finding a natural jump shadow. Very, very interesting.
That could potentially be very juicy if he can wear one of the two lances.
Yep. That means that second relic slot can go for something like an Atlas Armlet or even a Gauntlet would be fantastic.
Looks like he's going to forego natural jump shadow for now and slap it all on Edgar, which is fine. He knows Edgar by default has access to all of the juicy lances in the game, so that's a perfectly fine decision.
I think so too. You can make an argument for switching out like Gao, for example. Gao with GP Rain and tools. He's fine for now in the mid game, but you really want something else later on.
So Search the Skies gave Nobody War Ifrit, and Ifrit has plus 2 strength, and that's gonna go right on whoever he plans to have his plan to use the Atma weapon later on.
Yep. Absolutely. Meanwhile, Honeydew gonna go to the floating continent. Once again, 100% agree. The first and third checks here are guaranteed to reward progression. With no free progression, the second check will also likely reward it. So this check isn't as valuable as it is. I still really like it.
Yeah, you're gonna get 4 boss fights plus 5 fixed encounters, so it's just a buttload of experience, which can push you over the top, and then you get the 2 guaranteed pieces of progression. Even though it's a little bit longer time for the complete the whole thing, it's still a very popular choice and a good choice.
yeah, at 4 and 5, you're hard pressed to do anything else. I would say. And unfortunately, it looks like the encounters up here aren't great. So hopefully the bosses are a little better.
Yeah, the boss pool, aside from the Stooges, has been pretty tame so far. Part of that too is because we know where 3 of the harder bosses in the game are, but there still are some pretty tough ones lurking.
And hey, Scullion's pretty good.
Yeah, Scullion's a nice encounter, especially when you have access to Bolt.
Yep.
And looks like we got Nobody War's gonna take on his guarding of the tomb, and then Luna Chimera is currently working their way through a Shepherd's Trench.
Yep.
And when they're done, they will be rewarded with their dragon boots at the end, along with their, I think it was Locke we found there at the end.
Shadow.
Of course, Shadow. Excuse me.
So I would imagine that Elsie is going to be hot on the heels of Honeydew and go and take a trip up to the floating continent.
Yeah, and Nobody War still has Mog, and he hasn't unearthed any of his checks. If we, again, you had mentioned this as soon as he found Mog because he was in proximity to Narsh, but the nice thing about Mog is that once you climb Mount Narsh, you have access to 3 checks, all within about 2 minutes of each other. The Lone Wolf check, which is gives you a choice between possibly progression or a high tier item. Then you can do the Kefka at Narsh battle. After you complete the Kefka at Narsh battle, it's going to warp you down to Arbus's house. And inside Arbus's house, you can trigger the Moogle defense check. So again, as I said, within 2 minutes each other, depending on how long you take on the Kefka at Narsh fight, you can get 3 checks back to back to back really, really fast. It's a really popular choice.
Well, there's Tritalk. With GP Rain or Drill and Fire 2 and Fire Beam, this should be no problem.
Yeah, Tritalk is one of those bosses you either really want to see him or you don't want to see him. It's really awkward when you run into him and you don't have any fire spells or anything that can ignore defense and damage him because he has such high defensive prowess. But if you have something that can comfortably take care of him, he is no threat whatsoever to the party.
Absolutely. So this should be totally fine. As long as the second boss is also nice and not like Magimaster or something.
Yeah, it'd be a real shame if Magimaster appeared.
That sure would suck.
Yeah, that would not be very entertaining to watch at all. But also, I'd settle for a Storm Dragon if we can get another Storm Dragon versus Honeydew encounter.
Okay, well, Rexall is also annoying, but for different reasons. It should be no problem to take him out. He has very little physical defense, so he is weak to the ice element, although his magic defense is stupid high. So you really just want to like drill or use the fight command with somebody with a decent stick.
Mm-hmm. A fun strategy for Rexall, just because in Final Fantasy VI, magic tends to be the more common source of damage, and Rexall has such high magic defense that what I like to do is I come across ice rods, I will buy 1 or 2 of them and just sit on them for the entire seed on the odd chance I do come across a Rexall. Because as you can see right now, this stick and Honeydew, this is probably going to take him 60 to 90 seconds just because of that high defense. But if he was able to cast an ice rod out on him, that's going to pierce that defense and pretty much melts him. So the good part about that is pierces his magic defense, takes him down pretty fast, and if by the odd chance, or the more likely chance you don't come across him, you can always use those ice rods on tier 2 of Final Kefka for one of the parts that's vulnerable to ice.
Yep, Tiger Head is vulnerable to it, so
just a little something to think about, because one of the main goals our runners are thinking about right now is 1, find characters and espers, and 2, get levels. But 3, you're also preparing for the final boss of the game, like you do in Final Fantasy IV. You're think of what you need for Zero Miss. In Chrono Trigger, you're thinking what you need for Lavos, or in Death of Time, Queen Zeal. They're planning and gearing up for a long tier, 4-tier fight at the end. And those ice rods sure come in handy sometimes. Save you some MP in case you don't come across healing. And if you have a decent magic user, they're going to be a turn's worth of quad 9s on a high priority target.
So, some interesting developments. Honeydew found Sword Tech Cyan. Nobody War sees Umaro at the top of the cliff.
Yeah, and I believe Go-Go was the peak spot for War to ruin Narsh, make that climb. So that's possibly 2 characters back to back for Nobody War and gives him the 7 he needs.
He shouldn't need it. He did just pick up an Esper there. This is... Wait, is it 7 and 10? Or 7 and 9? Or is it 6 and 9?
I believe it's 7 and 10.
7 and 10, yep, you're right. So
beautiful. Finally right for a change. Thank you.
You've been right like a million times. So yeah, no, this once again routes very cleanly for Nobody War. Once he is done here, he can just flop to the World of Ruin, climb the cliff. He has the dragon option if he wants it, and I would imagine that he just takes it with the Atmo weapon user.
Yeah, and the great thing about finding your characters before you find your Espers is that it's a huge relief, because characters are so much harder to find than Espers. There's literally double the amount of Espers there are characters, so you're statistically so much more inclined to come across an Esper that you're more worried, and you're more worried about your character search, because as those Espers grow and you find less and less characters, you have to go into less desirable checks, which just eats up more time, and it's just a big relief when you're at 7 and 5 and you're done with that.
Oh yeah, 100% agreed. This is Ultras 4 for Nobody War and Daddy Luma for the Do.
Yeah, good news for Nobody War is there's only one possible Ultros combo left for him to come across if to complete the quad fecta.
Yep, this is easily the worst one. You get absolutely nothing for doing this fight other than the relief that it's over, I guess. I don't know.
The plus side is, as a boss, you can actually easy kill, and you can't really get stonewall cleared. Unless you just flat out controller dies or something awkward.
Yep. Downside is that at the end of this, Chupon will sneeze your party away, and you get absolutely nothing for it. No EXP, no magic points. Dataluma, no longer a threat to Honeydew, and so now he has to make the escape.
Yeah, this Honeydew has 2 more counters left and 1 more boss. One of the awkward spots about Floating Continent is that a lot of characters will forgo that save point before you get to the Atmo weapon fight, just because it's a long trek to jump down and jump back up. So sometimes when this last encounter is a tougher one, it puts runners in a really awkward position, because if some bosses you just can't beat, so you warp out of, but because it's such a time loss, go all the way back to the start, you may try to power through it. So if we see who we mentioned earlier, or we see another guy that likes to search the skies, some of the rougher bosses available, it could be a really awkward spot for Honeydew.
Yeah, and we definitely don't want that to happen.
We definitely do not like exciting, entertaining fights. We pray those never happen.
100%. Okay, well, get your dabbing yetis out in the chat.
Well, in fact, about this Umaro is that he's weak to fire, but bolt 3 is going to get the job done just fine. But he is susceptible to poison, and a fun thing to do is just cast bio on him, and then just sit there and watch the poison damage add up. It just doubles and doubles and doubles, and it's fun, and you wish you could do it to every boss in the game sometimes.
We see Sabin here doing about 1,000 damage per swing of that Atma weapon. And this isn't even his final form. And down goes the Yeti, so we'll see who's at the top here. Or at the end here, rather. Nobody more, meanwhile, finding Vargas and the Bears. And Siren for Honeydew. That's big in a seed without mute access. And Strength plus 2 stapled to it as well. Phenomenal. And Honeydew just kind of goes straight into the dream. Hard to say what he's looking for here. I would imagine that he would just want triple Esper, but he is shy a character.
And he doesn't know that Locke is waiting for him at the waterfall. So he could work his way back to it, but he doesn't know for sure that it's a character because it's not peekable.
Exactly.
Dr. GD in the chat pointing out a great thing. Or a great observation that once Honeydew completes his first boss and he steps through the part of the dream that transfers with the train, you will see the reward running across the top of the train where you would typically see Cyan in the vanilla game. And if that reward is a character, you will see that character sprite. So what he could be doing is taking the first fight, seeing what it is, and then seeing if there's a character down here to be had, because that's the only spot in the dream that could possibly be a character.
I would say that in his particular situation, that you probably wouldn't want to do that. You'd probably just want to go through no matter what, because no matter what shows up here is going to be beneficial to him, unless it winds up like being super unlucky where it's 2 dead checks and like 1 Esper or whatever. But with no true progression, that is very unlikely.
Yeah, we've only seen the 1 dead check at Imperial Camp, but there's still 3 more to be out there. But it's really unlikely we see another one. Statistically impossible almost that we come across 2 more, and that 2 more are in the same spot.
Yeah, that would be the most unfortunate thing I've seen in this game in a while. So, Nobody War wrapping up the Dome of Defense. Lunar Chimera making it through his initial slew of bosses, so going to probably get through Floating Continent here, no problem. And down goes the Flame Eater for Honeydew.
Beautiful. Alright, so we're about 30 minutes past where I asked you last time. Who are you feeling, Gar, is in the lead in the driver's seat now? Because earlier it was Honeydew. You think Nobody War is past Honeydew, or you think Honeydew, despite being behind in progression, still has his hand on the wheel and is dictating this thing?
I still like Honeydew here because his checks are a lot better than Nobody War's at the moment. Nobody War has like this straighter route, I would say, but that route also is only going to get him to, like, right now he's going to get probably another Esper and another character, so it's going to put him at 8-7. Honeydew is going to be probably 7-7 here with Celeste, with more save-in checks, more Cyan checks. I like Honeydew's spot a lot better.
So with that in mind, we know one of the easier, faster checks in the game, the waterfall jump with Sabin, is going to be Locke at the end of it. Are you taking that into account, that he's most likely going to go do that and it's not going to advance anything for him but the timer?
I'm honestly not sure what I do in Honeydew's spot, but I think that waterfall's off the table for him. If I were him, I would go do the siege, and I would go do at least the first couple of bosses of Magitech.
Do all of Magitech, forget your spells, and unlock Setzer's true potential.
But Bolt 3!
Well, you can just relearn Bolt 3.
Yeah, you could just relearn those spells. It just takes some time. The problem is if you're then going into Kefka's Tower, right, where not every party is going to fight a boss where you can learn spells, that could become a problem.
Yeah, and you also got to remember, Honeydew got his plus 10 magic power back already.
Right. I don't hate a full clear of Factory. It's a lot of levels if the random encounters there are good. You wind up getting Tech Missile, which is, that's Tech Missile. It's one of the best abilities in the game.
My dog, Master Jed, and anybody else in the chat, if you haven't already, check out our runners, check out their stream pages, and give them a follow, give them a shout out, give them a subscriber, whatever you feel worthy, we'll take it. But the links are on the chat for each one of them for you. And if you happen to come across them or join other streams, tell them you appreciate them running on the restream for us. It takes a lot of courage. Takes a lot of bravado to get up there and embarrass yourself, in my case, in front of a live studio audience sometimes. So we appreciate them running and want to show them some love.
Yeah, absolutely. They're putting on a wonderful show for us. These events would not be possible without them, so show them some love. Honeydew takes out a train. They put
Beautiful.
a whole train in the castle now. The Air Force in the castle, train in the castle. What will they think of next? And there's a Rage Celeste.
Beautiful.
At the very start of this, we found the stray cat.
Well, I only think Nobody War found the stray cat because he took his stroll through the west or the eastern part of the world.
Honeydew took some random encounters in front of Barren Falls, so he should have it as well.
So here's the problem though for Honeydew is his only weapon of note is an Atma weapon, and a rage user can't use an Atma weapon, so he's gonna wing edges. He does have the 2 offering, and a wing edge would get the job done.
Yeah. The thing is, with Cat Scratch, it almost doesn't matter what weapon you use. You're gonna do 4 times the damage, so put a Dirk on. It's fine. So, dream rewarding 2 Espers and a stray cat Celeste.
Ooh, fire 3 on there as well.
What a seed! What an absolutely brilliant seed that this has been. And there's that Esper for Nobody War.
Yeah, it's gonna be Shoat, and let's see what Shoat gives him. Nothing of note. All right, so we know Nobody War is gonna find his go-go in the cave and get his 7th character. Honeydew, 1 Esper behind him, but already has his 7th character, and he's on his way to his next destination. How are we feeling about Luna Chimera? Because we know they're behind by the numbers, but what can Luna Chimera do to get back into this?
Well, Lunar Chimera hasn't gone down the waterfall yet, so they could pick up their lock and do all of Lock's checks. It's a little unfortunate that that was being gated by the Stooges, because we know that it's a 4 fight curse shield unlock, and that is just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. And in the cave, we have an almost Magic Master sighting. We have Magic Master at home, number 24, who is a little less imposing than the real thing.
Yeah, the cheap imitation.
So, all right, so Honeydew just found another Esper from his search disguise, which is
Yep, and just gonna go right into Vector here. I don't hate it. The question is,
Does he have
does
warp
he warp
stones?
out?
Does he have warp stones is the question. I can't remember if he bought any.
I think he does.
I'm gonna assume so because I've never seen a runner go into a spot assuming they had warp stones and turn out they didn't and had to walk out. That's
This one
definitely
would be
never
kind of
happened
a
to me.
rough one to walk out to. You can, it's possible, but it's a hefty walk.
Yeah, I did that the other day in Kefka's Tower. As a matter of fact, I did a full right clear. Only to get to the end, I realized I didn't have warp stones. But if you are ever curious in that situation, the fastest way out is to go take a middle party, which is obviously the only one that can get out, and then go to the left route and pass up the toilet at my side to get out. That's the fastest possible way to correct that mistake or mitigate that mistake.
So Doc in chat saying that he would definitely eat -10 spells. I think the -10 spells, it's fine. You've got all the offense in the world. The only person that really cares about magic is your Setzer, and they're going to be tech missiling everything. So,
Well, for Honeydew, he took his Setzer out of the party, so it doesn't even matter.
oh yeah, that's true.
Spells be damned.
So keeping Gao, so yeah, if you're gonna keep Gao in, there's no point in doing it if you get 2 Espers here.
Now here's the conundrum. If you're Honeydew, if one of these 2 spots are dead, which is in the realm of possibilities, do you go through the end of Magitech or do you warp out and you go somewhere else?
I'm tempted to go all the way to the end, but there's a great argument to be made for warping out because you haven't looked at Doma Siege, you haven't looked at Mount Zozo. Honeydew could do Waterfall. We know that that's not progression, but he doesn't know that. So Nobody War in the Zone Eater belly. Ooh. Gets through the bridge troll, no
Beautiful.
problem. That has been the bane of my existence.
Those were some mega elixir quality moves right there to navigate that bridge.
True. Looking forward to seeing you there pretty soon, by the way.
Oh, thank you. That's bold of you to assume I won't blow this.
Nah, you've gotten strong. You're very strong with Starter General.
Well,
I have to respect.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I learned from you and Swans and Honeydew. And Nobody War a little bit.
Okay, so an Esper there for Nobody War. So just one more to go. Honeydew just unlocked it.
Yeah,
did we miss an Esper somewhere? We must have. Yeah. Well, heck, that changes the math on everything. Yeah. So gets his Esper, immediately warps out. Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, it changes everything, but in reality, it doesn't change anything because he would just have to check up some stairs and take on one more fight. So
Yeah.
Honeydew is going to be entering in the Kefka's Tower at 118 for a 7 and 10 flag set requirement. That's a really good time, especially considering some of the handicaps that are thrown his way with the no support spells and some of the other uniqueness of this flag set. So keep in mind though, what he has waiting for him at the end is 3 very tough bosses. With the shuffled statues, it's no guarantee that he's able to get through this with his current setup, even though he's the first one in. So Nobody War, despite not being in the tower at the same time, Luke and Mary being a little farther behind both of our runners, they are still very much in this.
Oh, 100%. It is very, very easy for the statue bosses to wall a party to the point where they may have to warp out and reform, which would be a significant time loss. So, I think that our parties are strong enough to where that the risk of that happening is pretty low. That being said, I would have liked to see Honeydew do the Opera House Dragon just for the extra levels. He's got a largely physical party, and physical damage in this game is determined in large part by your level. So the higher level you are, the more damage you do, and that applies more to physical characters than magical characters. So,
And remember, with no support magic, Poltergeist cannot be cheesed, as the kids say. You'll have to take him down the hard way. And if on his Atma offering side, if he happens to come across Goddess, that could be a rough go of it, because Goddess has some great ideas to thwart a physical attacker.
yep. Now, the good thing, maybe the maybe good thing is that if he runs into Goddess with this center party here, X-Fight will not count for love token.
Well, that is true. And his other character is jumping, and jumping won't trigger it as well, so I was mistaken.
Correct.
I forgot he has all the offerings in the world he could ever need.
We found, 2 of them? So
Found 3 of them, I think. Or 3
Was
of
it
them,
3?
and 2 of them are, and they were for sale, or you found 3 of them and they were for sale. Somebody will quickly correct me in the chat, as they always do.
Lunar Chimera taking a hike up Mount Zozo, probably going to fight the dragon up here, and none of our other runners have come up here thus far. So, and Nobody War not finding an Esper there in the auction house, so gonna have to start leaning into another character's checks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fortunately, he can't be like Honeydew and just have one appear on the screen. He's gonna have to do it the hard way.
So
now he's gonna find Gao here, which won't be a character, so he'll. Oh no, he didn't save, so he won't be able to easily work out of this.
He's out of checks without getting Gao.
yeah.
Oh no.
So he has to get Gao. Well, he's going to get Gao as a matter of course. Now, he could go into the basement and get his last Esper here, or he could follow Gao's checks.
Yeah, because the Ancient Castle will be an Esper, and one of Gao checks, the Belt will be an Esper, and the Trench will be a Shadow. So after he gets Gao, he has 3 options, and 2 of them get him to the Promised Land, and 1 of them does not.
Did you guys see the Valiant Knife drop from the dragon?
I just did, and
Let's go.
that's fantastic. That's what Lunar Chimera needs to get back into this. Start killing stuff fast and heavy, and he'll catch up in no time.
One thing that would have really made this pop off is, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
That's-
dear.
Our second dead check, and Lunar Chimera, unfortunately, is the one to find it when he needs it to be something good. If we had a scatter chart of the odds of our runners finishing this race in first place, and Lunar Chimera's was trending upwards by doing a check nobody else had done, but the moment that check was dead, it shot straight down into the abyss.
Unfortunately, not even a terribly helpful item either.
Nope.
If that were an Illumina or something, you could make a decent argument, but Genji Glove unfortunately does nothing for him here. So, gonna go into World of Balance Opera House, gonna go clear the rats from the rafters and stop the Ultros trying to drop a 5-ton weight on the Celeste? It can't be Celeste. Celeste is not here. So who is
Celeste
it?
can't. Good question. And Nobody War down in the basement's having a rough go
Maria.
here with the Air Force. All right, so the Guardian spot for Honeydew is going to be Whelp, and that's going to be the last of his unknown encounters. So he has fortunately avoided some of the nastier bosses that Final Fantasy VI has to offer that could have stood in his way. Now the ones that will stand in the way, we'll have to wait and see.
Nobody War being given the business by Air Force and going to reset.
Yeah, as I said, he didn't save before he went in, so I'm curious to where he last saved.
Okay, and unfortunately, Honeydew runs into Doom here. Not really the fight that you would want to be on this side.
I think he'll be fine because his Atma offering will target the second phase. It will still connect.
Oh no, he'll be fine. It's just you would rather do this, I think, with a weaker party.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that freezing of all of his characters was the only thing that could really stood between him and defeating Doom. Maybe an unfortunate demon rage attack after targeting, but this is not going to be too much of a threat for Honeydew. It'll be interesting to see what his jumper has to fight, and then his magic casting Gal has to deal with, because this Gal just knows Bolt 3 and Pearl. I don't think it learned Fire 3. Alright, so Nobody War is going to give Gal one more chance to get this guy into his party so he can get on his way and back on a good path. For Luna Chimera, he's going to come across the Inferno at the stage spot in the Opera House. Not too scared of a fight. I think he'll be fine because he has Bolt 3. He's got 2 characters down, but I still think he's in a good position. He just won't be able to steal any elemental shields if he desired. Doom is going down for Honeydew, and 2 challenging bosses are going to await Honeydew here between him and the almighty Kefka.
So a little bit unfortunate there for LC. They're not going to get experience on 2 characters, but will wind up getting their 9th Esper.
So his goddess alternatives, he does have the 3 Super Balls, because remember during his Storm Dragon days that he forgo throwing him out there, and he burned his Fire Rod. His Gal does have tools, and I don't think his Gal learned Fire 3, so if his goddess is going to absorb his 2 spells, and as I say that, goddess is on the Gerard side. Yeah, so
Okay,
hopefully
opting for the reset there. So worth noting too that Honeydew never found Locke and thus never found the Orlands.
Yeah, but I think he'll switch over his Atma weapon to Edgar, and then he'll jump with the Atma weapon and do just fine. Yep.
Or just offering swing, looks like.
Of course. Yeah, if I were Honeydew here, I'd also take the time to go ahead and equip Shadow up with some stuff just so he's a little more survivable. Because that ammo weapon is going to be the damage it does is going to be predicated on the HP Gerard has available, or is current to him. And if he dips below that and Shadow goes down, it's a little awkward. Yeah, and his Gerard's in the back row, so he's only doing 900, 800-ish a swing.
So about 3,600 a round.
Yeah. And at this point in the game, that goddess probably has right around 30,000 HP, so he's going to need, 7 or 8 turns at a full HP Gerard to take it down. And that
There's
is
the
not
Minerva
ideal.
steal.
That's fantastic. Now, if he can just kill the thing.
So unfortunately, like all of our stuff is gonna hurt now. Yeah. So hopefully these 5 X potions are gonna be enough. Would love to see a dodge here on the Meteo. Of course, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, other than casting Overcast, there's nothing that he's going to throw out there that won't be a damage turn. So he's either going to have to get really liquid with some dodges so he can get some full HP swings up, or he's just going to have to reset, which is what he's doing now, and come up with a plan C to work his way through this without a full party reset.
Yeah, so it looks like he's going to think about it while he does Poltergeist here. Lunar Chimera, meanwhile, picking up that lock.
Yeah, so this Bolt 3 is going to be huge in determining whether this is survivable or not. Let's see how much it does.
So about 3k, which is fine. It's just the counterattacks, which might be trouble.
Yeah, because Goddess is going to have around 30,000 HP, I would say, at this level. Poltergeist is going to have even more, so it's going to take north of 10 turns, somewhere around there at 3,200-ish damage a swing, or a turn. And I'm not sure he's going to be able to survive that long if they get it 10-ish turns in. Yeah, so when Poltergeist hits you a stop, now this is a counterattack, mind you, but not far behind a stop is going to be a Blaster, and Blaster is going to be a instant death to the stop character.
Poltergeist, probably the rudest of the 3 statues if you don't have stop. And really does not like Setzer.
No, he does not one bit, he knows. He knows Setzer is the glue that holds this party together, and he is tearing it apart at the seam.
Lunar Chimera finding Atma. Did they get Cyan?
I believe they did. I can't remember where.
Okay.
Cyan was floating continent.
Yep.
Yeah. Sword-Tech Cyan.
That's right.
Yes.
And there's that last Esper, and there is the unlock for Lunar Chimera. Pulling ahead of Nobody War.
Yeah, so here's the good news for Lunar Chimera and Nobody War. If they can make their own luck and spread up their party, and unbeknownst to them, but if they can spread up their party in a way so that they fare better against the statue bosses than what Honeydew is right now, they can catch up very easily, because Honeydew's been going at this for 14 minutes. He went in that 118. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but at 132 minus 118 is 14. As that's 14 minutes we've been watching Honeydew go at this, and he's made no progression on one side. He's not doing much better on this side either. He's at danger of wiping any moment.
Yeah, he is running out of Phoenix Downs. He has run out of Phoenix Downs.
Yeah, the best thing for him to do at this point, if this last Phoenix Down doesn't get it done, he's gonna have to warp out and do a 2v2 on each side. Yep, and
honestly, I don't hate that.
I have no problem with it either. I just wish he would have done it sooner. It came to that realization maybe 3 or 4 minutes ago. First with the god, well, 3 to 4 minutes on each side. First with the Goddess when he tried Plan B, and then second once he couldn't keep his sets up. But it looks like he's not going to warp out. He's gonna
He'll try a Dragoon stat with Setzer. Yeah.
I'm not sure this is going to give him much better go of it, because he just doesn't have anything for the counterattacks to stay alive, because you have to attack to kill him, and then the script is going to say you got to eat this a little bit.
Yeah, any number of things really might screw up Honeydew's plan here. So like an opening stop on Setzer, for example, basically puts him behind for the rest of the attempt.
Yeah, Luna Chimera is getting his plus 10 magic power back after he takes down this worthless piece of junk tunnel armor. And you can see the problem with this strategy for Honeydew is pretty much every other turn he's going to be reacting to something Poltergeist did, so he's never going to get to the point where he can just chip away his HP. 75% of his turns are going to be dedicated to keep himself alive, and he's just not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the unlock for Nobody War. And Lunar Chimera, when did they get in?
They got in around 133 when we were mentioning Honeydew's. I was doing the math for Honeydew's time. Yeah, now come stop on his gal. That's not gonna. He just has to stand around and wait for Gal to die so he can bring him back.
Yep. So I haven't seen what Elsie's levels are like. I think they're a little bit ahead of what Honeydew has.
Mm-hmm. We're a little ahead because he's done, I think, two dragons as opposed to Honeydew's one. Plus, whenever he did that long behemoth fight, and he's done a few more fixed encounters, so he should be a little ahead in the level wise.
Yeah.
And then
God, that behemoth fight seems like it was 85 years ago at this point.
But I think it's just a matter of when does Honeydew reset out of this and then goes back and tries it again, because that's when we can really get a good idea of how far behind Luna Chimera and Nobody War are. Because I just don't see any scenario in which Honeydew can take down either one of those two sides. And two, I don't see any benefit of trying to take down one of these sides with the current party, just because you're going to have to warp out either way. You might as well just 2 and 2. There's no... You can do it 2 and 2. You don't need to all 4 members. So you might as well just do it. Just get out of there and get back on a winning path.
Honeydew, if they can get Poltergeist into his phase 2, then he might be okay. But his phase 2 can cast Medio, and Medio don't care about your gear.
No, it does not. The only good thing about Medio is that Medio likes to miss sometimes.
Yeah. Well, Medio or whatever Medio gets scaled up to. This guy can cast Ultima, so...
Yeah, almost what I would have done there if I was Honeydew is I would have just thrown the Super Balls out there. Because his Bolt 3 is doing 3,400 damage. Super Balls have the potential to do more than that.
It's a tough call, I would say. They can do more, but they might not. So it looks like he is in phase 2. So he won't cast Stop anymore, which is great. The issue now is that any multi-target attacks are only going to hit Gao.
Mm-hmm.
So Goner, I think, just kills him outright.
Yeah, he's pretty fortunate. He's got a couple of Merton and Flare Stars off that just aren't going to hurt him. I don't know if the scaling is high enough for him to eat Ultima, but if he sees Ultima appear up on his screen, he's done for. But another Flare Star, that's huge for his chances. He's down to just a couple more Bolt 3s. He's...
Wow, very nice, Honeydew, pulling it out.
Very, very clutch.
So do you warp back out and take Goddess with everybody here, or do you just try it again? What do you guys think?
Well, remember we were debating this about at 133 if you should warp out a Poltergeist. It's probably about 5 minutes to get your party back to the the goddess spot. So maybe just alone because it took you 5 minutes to take Poltergeist down when things went right, and I can imagine a similar scenario for him to defeat goddess. So you might as well just for the sure thing. But I was wrong about needing the warp out for Poltergeist, so maybe I'm wrong about needing the warp out for goddess.
I think I would do it just to be 100% sure of things. That being said, when did Honeydew get Normal? Oh, that's right. He just killed Poltergeist. Okay, got it. So, yeah, no. I think you just jump with Edgar and you're totally fine.
And if one of you guys got a fan going on, it's blowing into your mic a little bit. I think it cut off. I think we're good. And that...
Ooh, big damage. Look at the quad jump. Let's go.
Easy there, Phil Swift.
That's a lot of damage. I don't think Flex Tape is going to be able to put Goddess back together, though. So Lunar Chimera at Doom. Casting Pearl. Pearl's doing about 4k a pop. Oh! That's unfortunate. Honeydew eating a Grand Train. Choo-choo.
Yeah, I wonder how many times he's going to hit his head against this wall before warping back out. I think with the jumping, it's good, but the problem is if you get caught with Grand Train or Quasar or one of those other non-elemental spells, you're pretty much done.
Yeah. So, if we had a Speed Esper, Honeydew I think would be just fantastic. Because you can stay in the air basically forever. Doom, meanwhile, kind of giving Lunar Chimera the business. So they're
he's able to able to get around. Well, he's not even to phase 2 yet, but able to get around the image status phase with jump here. And there goes Shadow again.
Ooh. Okay, have to hope that this meteor doesn't kill.
It's going to.
Yeah, I think it's done for.
So
the saving grace there is that meteor is very low magic power.
Oh, that's clutch. That would have wiped him if he was down.
Very, very nice Honeydew, taking out all three without reforming the parties.
Do you think maybe Honeydew is in his mind that maybe Nobody War and Lunar Chimera are closer than what he thinks they are? He doesn't know that they're even behind us. So maybe that was going through his thought process of that they're right on his heels, if not ahead of him. So he couldn't afford the time loss of going out.
I think he feels the pressure from that Poltergeist fight. I think he feels like he's behind because of that, even though we know that he's in a pretty decent spot. Down goes Doom for LC. I believe nice. that Shadow was jumping with the Valiant Knife, so pretty cool. And the rest of this fight, I think, is going to be pretty easy for Honeydew. The only hiccup that I can see is something unfortunate with Cat Scratch. or rage in general, where he gets like a Meteo that he doesn't want, or an Ultima that he doesn't want.
Yeah, the variance in Cat Scratch and the regular attack is 4 times, so that's awesome from a pure DPS standpoint. But sometimes it's really unfortunate when you get 3 straight Cat Scratches coming out of the spot when you didn't want it on a target you didn't want it to come out to. So I think to counter that, Honeydew is a smart guy, a very seasoned player. Maybe he'll selectively trigger into that rage mode so it only comes out when he really wants it to come out.
Yeah.
But it's a really awful feeling when you launch that rage on a tier 4 and then 20k damage comes out. Then you do 20k and then another 20k comes out and you trigger the Ultima phase and you eat one just because you were expecting 40,000 damage to appear out of the blue.
So Honeydew starting the tiers at about 145.07.
Mm-hmm.
Lunar Chimera, meanwhile, set up a lot more favorably for Goddess.
Yeah, because of the level difference, I think he'll have a much better go. He will have a much better go of his statues encounters, despite seeing his lock just die for, a bunch of HP he didn't have. And as I say that, saving his now in borderline one ability to wiping
the Wombat's
mode.
gonna do it.
Yeah.
That was just unfortunate because Locke ate a counterattack and then she immediately turned around and slapped Saban. So
yeah. So as we were saying, Goddess a real threat to Lunar Chimera.
A very unfortunate crit there.
Honeydew's last Phoenix down.
And this is his last Phoenix down, yeah, so...
Does he by chance know life on anybody?
I don't know. I know that there have been Espers with life, but I don't
know
if
there's
he
no
learned it.
Life 2 or Life 3, but life could very easily sneak in there because you just don't think about it.
Honeydew turning Stray Cat on.
Beautiful. Unleash the cat.
Meow.
One free Fitz would be very proud. Wherever he is.
Honeydew didn't do Burning House, so there's a cap on that pride.
Yeah, just Walt's pointing out a good point in the text chat. He does have Phoenix, but I'm not aware of his Esper situation off the top of my head. The only thing useful was the Commerce Protection and the Siren. So right now I'm not sure if he has Phoenix Stone on or not, but Phoenix is a great alternative when you run out of Phoenix Downs. That's a one-time get out of jail free card, if you will.
So LC just took a wipe to Poltergeist there. I think I saw an ice doing about 3,500 or 3,500 damage. Why did I say it like that? I'm pretty sure that their Edgar has been juicing on that Magic Power plus 2 Esper for a good chunk of the seed.
Mm-hmm. And calling out myself earlier, there is life on Golem, so I think one of Honeydew's characters at some point in time would have learned life. One of his Figaro brothers, so I think he'll be fine without those Phoenix Downs. Yeah, so tier 2 is one of the most robust tier as far as targets. There are 4 targets. There's an order of operations that what Honeydew will like to take them out, and some weaknesses he'll like to utilize as he is casting Siren right now. The far left piece we call Magic, which will cast a lot of debilitating magic spells, but it is vulnerable to mute, so that's why Siren is so huge with no support magic. Siren is the only way to cripple that part of tier 2, and then once you cast Siren on that part of tier 2 can no longer act the rest of this fight until its death counter.
Yeah, magic may be the most annoying part of tier 2, and it's only because it can cast Muddle. Muddle is such a devastating status effect.
Yeah, especially if you have any instant death abilities queued, because you are trying to spam death or Doom or X-Zone on this tier because the middle part is susceptible to instant death. So it's really debilitating, especially, well, it's a party wipe if you have a sword tech get queued up and then you get hit with a muddle and it turns around and wipe your own party. It's always a fun sight.
For sure. LC taking out the Poltergeist after swapping out some gear, so no problem there. About 7.5k for their Bolt 3s, which is phenomenal.
Beautiful.
Never seen an Edgar with that much magic power.
Yeah, he has to have about almost 100 now because he's been on that magic +2 for a while and he's in the 40s.
Yep.
Plus he got his 10 back.
And
So let's see if we can.
Sorry.
I'm gonna see if we can see if he goes back into his menu one more time. Oh, nope, he does not. Well, we'll say 100. Nice even number.
Nobody wore fighting his Doom. So Locke can wear a Rage Ring. That Rage Ring will nullify lightning damage, which could come in handy.
Yeah, that will come very in handy in Goddess because some of her attacks are gonna be bolt related or bolt elemental, if you will. So anything you could do to mitigate those is going to be fantastic because as you saw in his first go of it, he wiped to one single target Bolt 3 and it's kind of hard to stay alive when you can't survive one attack.
Just a bit. Honeydew taking the 10 hits now, so he is almost done with tier 2 here. Uh, 10 hits. Ooh, okay, good.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
That crit was a
Okay.
little scary
no!
there.
He's fine. He's fine. That's also when health comes in handy, just because at this phase when he's muted, he's essentially neutered, and you can freely heal yourself back up. So, Luna Chimera not having a much more successful go-to with Goddess so far, but it's still early in the fight. Things can turn around. Maybe not if he's eating 2k Bolt 3s, but
Desperation Torado.
I don't think this is going to get it done, but we'll see.
Nah, he's gonna eat a Bolt 3 and restart. He restarts around the same time that Nobody War restarts, so how about that?
If only he could steal a Minerva from that fight and then put it on right away.
Right? Yeah, why can't he just change clothes in the middle of the fight?
Alright, so Honeydew on the tier 3s. Again, correct my math if I'm wrong, chat, but there's 4 tiers and you've done 2 of them. That's 50% of the tiers you need to complete.
So Whirlwind missing save in there, which is pretty fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
So here, you gotta kill the girl first. The girl has 10k HP. She will Pearl Wind, just like that, which restores HP to everybody equal to the caster's current HP. I think that kills... Yep, sure does.
Yeah, he had some pretty fortunate Atmos swings. 50% of them landed on Girl. And
Here's another whirlwind.
yeah, the nice thing about Sleep, which is the last part remaining, is he will alternate single target attacks with multi-target attacks. His multi-target attacks consist of Merton or Whirlwind. So if you see one come out, luckily nothing too scary is coming behind it for a while, and you have time to recover. That is, of course, until you trigger the medial phase, which will happen when he drops below 25% of his max HP, which in this flag set will be 40,000 HP total he'll have.
So Lunar Chimera just reset after Goddess cast Ultima, so very unfortunate for them. Nobody War has the Paladin shield. That is his X factor. So he's going to be able to shuffle that shield around, and he's going to have a much easier time of Poltergeist, which you just took down, and Goddess. Honeydew, everyone's favorite move, Train, coming out, sets the blind and mute status on your entire party. It's horrible. And everybody ate a Medio there. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but I think he'll be just fine. Yeah, he triggers Calmness, which is the death counter. He has something for it, or something to prevent it, and he's on the tier 4. Only one thing stands between him and victory, and it's victory himself.
Okay, so just wanted to point out that Lunar Chimera now has Genji Glove, Offering, and put a Scimitar in his other hand. Absolutely wonderful. I love it. I'm here for it.
You don't see enough Offering Genji Glove combinations in this game. Too many people are afraid to be that cool and do that much damage in one turn. Lunar Chimera, however, is not, and all the credit in the world to him.
So, Honeydew, Final Kefka, in the Showcase Showdown.
So, here's what could thwart Honeydew here. If he eats 1 or 2 hyperdrives, he's going to be in a bit of a pickle because he doesn't have anything to get those characters back up, and he's just not in the level 60s, or he didn't sit on 100 plus HP all game, but he's not going to have anything for a hyperdrive when it inevitably comes out.
Fallen One's actually a little bit rough too.
Yeah, because we never came across Magimaster, so we never got an Mega Elixir handed to us, and we never found one naturally. Alright, so this Atmo Offering swing should trigger the Goner phase. Or push him into Goner phase, not trigger Goner. And speaking of hyperdrive, there goes Edgar. He's off the board, but
so I think Honeydew's just going all in here.
Yeah.
If Goner comes out, I am not sure if he's going to be able to recover from it.
I think he has enough though, because this is going to be over 30.
There it is. There's the crack pow.
Yep.
So 157, 46 ish.
And remember, he went at 118 on the dot, so that's a longer than average Final Kefka time because of the complexity of the shuffle statues.
Absolutely. But GG's to Honeydew for pulling it out, sticking with it, not resetting.
Yeah, all the credit in the world to Honeydew. And speak of the devil, Honeydew is with us in the broadcast booth. My dog, how you doing? How are you feeling? Hopefully you're on cloud 9 because you just took down some talented runners.
We cannot hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you talking, my friend.
That was not easy.
It was not, but you pulled it out. GG's. Congratulations on your first place finish. Give me your overall thoughts.
Oh man, it was a tale of two seeds. There was a seed before Kefka's Tower and a seed after Kefka's Tower. The seed after Kefka's Tower was that was a gauntlet. Hold on, let me pause my game and get my music playing loud in my ear. Alright. So whenever I tried to do Goddess with my Edgar, that just wasn't up to the task. He was doing like 800 a swing. And I couldn't jump with him either because he had a Pearl Lance which would have healed her up. So I was like, okay, well, I gotta beat Spicy first to get the Aura Lance so that Edgar can beat Goddess. But then I start fighting Spicy, and Spicy just popping off every round.
It's hard to not stop, right?
He had stop. Wish I had Reflect or something, but, no Grey Magic.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, if you had stop, it would have been fine, but he has stop.
Yeah, I was just teasing. Yeah,
puts you on the back foot.
Yeah, really aggressive with the stops and the blasters. It's like I was just sitting there with my cursor and a Phoenix down waiting, like, okay, give me the blaster.
What?
Yeah, that was a wretched undertaking to get through, and pretty slow Kefka climb. It's basically found no armor the whole seed, like almost no white magic, because each magic site only has 2 spells on it, and it was like all black magic the whole seed. But just had to take it like piece by piece and be patient.
Yeah, what was going through your mind when you were? You were actually pretty far ahead. You went into Kefka Towers at 118. At that point in time, Nobody War was down in AT Castle, and he had wiped. Voodoo Chimera still needed a couple pieces of progression, so you were pretty far ahead. But in your mind, were you thinking they were closer than they actually were? How much pressure were you put on yourself there to push through?
Didn't think I would get to unlock last because I kept wiping an ancient castle to that storm dragon that kept one-shotting Sabin for some reason, and I kept trying to like bring him back, and he would just do like wind slash. Usually when you fight him, he like regular attacks most of the time, but he was on that wind slash today. Every time I fought him, he didn't even wind slash once. So I thought I was a bit behind because of that, but at the end of the day, I knew that the seed basically gave us just enough power to get by, so I figured if I could, beat the statues in as few tries as possible, because I didn't think anybody was going to beat the statues in one try, unless they get a really, really late unlock. So as long as I don't have too many retries on the statues, I think I'll take the first place.
So, I do want to point out that Locke was behind the Three Stooges on the Baron Falls, and Curse Shield was at 4 for this seed.
Oh, that would have been very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to go right back to the Stooges, but I just kept getting distracted by other chicks. Because the seed just opened up so much. They had Setzer with lots of stuff to do. Once you get Cyan, you got to do all his stuff, and I kept trying to get back to him, and I just never got back to him.
Yeah, I figured that once you got Cyan, I think you were at 6 and 6 by the time you went into Dome of Dream, and yeah, there was there's no point in really going for Waterfall anymore.
The route in my mind was I was gonna Dome a Dream, Dome a Castle, then back to the Waterfall. Just go little airship flying as possible. But then I found Celas, that gave the first 2 a Magitech. And then I noticed when I went to fly the airship that I never did search the skies. But yeah, it meant to. Only reason I reset out of the Stooges is because I had an ice shield, so I was like, I'll just learn ice 2 and come back later. And later never came.
Yeah, we had mentioned that at one point when you were looking for your last Esper. We knew, thanks to Nobody War and Voodoo Chimera, that Waterfall was a lock, and if you had warped that into your pathing and into your search, that would have been just a time sink. But you were able to avoid that pitfall, if you will. We're also joined by Nobody War in the chat. Nobody War was right on your heels throughout most of the race, but you were able to pull it out and get the W. Nobody War, how you feeling? What do you feel like went wrong? What do you think went right? What could have gone better for you, I think?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of just lost track of everything there by the end. And whatever that attack was, where it reflected the whatever, that was enough for me for the night.
That was enough rando for you. And I feel you.
You were the only person nobody wore to get that paladin shield, so
It was only 4. I mean, why wouldn't you?
yeah, exactly. But neither Lunar Chimera nor Honeydew wound up going to the waterfall. They went to the waterfall. Honeydew saw Stooges and just instant reset.
Well, this was my thing. I wasn't going to do any of Jared's checks. I was going to do all of Saban's checks first. So,
yeah, that's fair.
There he goes.
Yeah, you're not the only one that likes to fade Gerard's checks, if you will. If you ever get a chance, ask Watts what he thinks about Ancient Castle. But there was a point where you had to go down there and get through your Gao, and then get down to Ancient Castle to get your last Esper. What was going through excuse me, what were you feeling offensively at that point? Because you were a little bit ahead on levels despite being far behind in aggression. What were you thinking of your overall setup at that point after you had been
Party
through
felt pretty good. I was still looking for stuff. I went down there to take the dragon fight specifically instead of just going to the Veld or running the trench. I wanted to fight. I was actually going to do Opera Dragon before I jumped in the tower, and that might have helped. I was going to kill the dragon on the right side too. That might have helped, but who knows? Nothing good in the Coliseum at all.
No, it took 2 trips.
Praying for another big sword somebody could swing. Yeah. Anything, like a pair of dice. It took me forever to find the boots. I was just like, okay, this is how this is going to be. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, that was hands down the worst Coliseum ever because there was only a fire rod to be had in there.
Yeah.
You won't believe the offense I had. I took a grind fight outside a waterfall and ran into a stray cat formation.
Well, so did I.
My character was a rager.
See, I was hoping for one. I never got it.
Yeah, I think your second fight was the stray cat.
So I have a question for Honeydew. If you had kept Setzer in your party, would you have done the entirety of Magitech facility just to get Tech Missile, knowing that you had like a magic power +2 Esper out there?
Nah, because Celis was character 7, and it was just too late in the seed for a full Magitech. If it would have got Celis like character 5 or 6, then maybe, because the only thing I really got to relearn is Bolt 3. Like, everything else was kind of just filler. Maybe like Bolt 3 and Ice 2. So yeah, if I would have got Celis early enough, then yeah, I would have did the entire Magitech.
Got it. We were talking about it too, because we thought you were at 8 Espers when you went into the tower, but you actually had, or when you went into Magic Facility, but you actually had 9. So, but we were talking, it's like, do you do the minecart shenanigans after the second boss? But yeah, after that first one, it makes sense.
It was too little, too late. Any other time, I would have considered it, because yeah, Bolt 3 was on like a ×7 Esper maybe. Like it wouldn't have been much to relearn it, and I would have really only had to relearn it on Gao because he's the only person that would ever click it.
And just a quick drop in on the action still going on. We got Luna Chimera down to 1 character with 200 HP on tier 2, so still in it, but having a rough going at the moment. Alright, Schwantz, do you have anything for our winner and our other runner tonight nobody wore?
Yeah, big swag points nobody wore from walking all the way from Imperial Camp to Phantom Train to Barren Falls, saving the environment. You like
I was
that?
trying to grind fights.
Did you
I knew I would hit the
underpowered?
tile
Feel
there
underpowered
on
for
that
a while?
walk for sure. I knew I would hit the one automatic fight tile. So then
Yeah.
I was hoping to get another one before I hit the pond before the train.
There you go.
Classic play.
Yeah, it was interesting because there was 2 different paths through the seed until Nobody War. You ran out of checks trying to get your 10th Esper, right? So you had to go through Gao. So it was interesting to see both you and Honey take sort of different paths through it. So, and then, you know, for Honey with the Storm Dragon mishaps down below, you had said you were, you know, trying to catch up from time. Did you just take fastest checks at that point?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a question for me?
Oh, yes. I was asking, after the Storm Dragon, you were just like, well, I'm going to take the fastest checks at that point, right?
Well, immediately after Ancient Castle, I went and got my +10 magic power. Because I had 3 super balls, so I was like, okay, I could just send 2 characters in there and they'll just plug the super balls and they could beat most things.
Makes sense.
But it ended up being tunnel armor, so I just did both 3s on them.
Yeah. And then, you know, going right up to Ancient Castle after, not Ancient Castle, Floating Continent, right when you got Shadow, too.
Yeah, I was a little thirsty for Magicites at that point, so I was like, and I was kind of low level. I knew I was going to be in KT, like low 30s. I was like, yeah, just go Floating Continent right now. I just popped some sleeping bags and went. I knew all 3 checks would be live because there's no free checks, and when there's no free checks like Floating Continent, it's almost always 3 live checks. So, you know, I just went.
Well, yeah, thank you guys for volunteering to be restreamed and broadcast. Can't have the races without you guys, and appreciate it. Glue, Gar, you got other stuff?
I'm just hoping we can get Storm Dragon in here for an interview as well for being the victor for the winner tonight. Because Honeydew is the winner, but Storm Dragon defeated Honeydew, so little math here.
Me and Storm Dragon gonna run it back one day. But
Wait,
thanks for having the show. Have a good one.
Thank you guys, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for volunteering to be on Restream, and GG's once again, Honeydew.
Yeah, no problem, GG's.
And Lunar Chimera taking care of Tier 2, going up to Tier 3.
Yeah, that was really hairy right there for him, because I mentioned there's one character down to 200 HP.
Well,
and then
Locke is dead.
Yeah, Locke is gone for him, but he still has 3 of his starting party up. So he can still finish it strong, but he's showing a lot of resiliency, but coming back from that one character in danger mode.
Yeah, that was very, very scary. Unfortunately, was able to stabilize there, and
the swag
hey,
shield.
how about that?
Let's go.
Beautiful.
Last question, I guess, for Nobody War. If you had taken down eventually Goddess without the other 2 runners found Siren somewhere, I think that was on Floating Continent, right? So without access to like mute and stuff like that, how did you feel against the final Kefka climb? Were you worried a little bit about that, not having the tools that you usually have to take care of things quickly?
Not necessarily. I was more worried, I guess, for the final fight than the statues. I just knew like offense wasn't quite there. Just watching this now, I'm like spacing like why in the game I didn't put the offering on him with capture and let Locke jump. You know what I mean? Like I played that one backwards. But yeah, that's all good.
Sorry, hindsight is 20/20. Sometimes I tell
this is
myself
tons of
I shouldn't
fun.
have drank that many. You know, it just, you can beat yourself up after the fact, but in the moment, as long as you're moving towards the end goal in a decent pace here.
Oh no!
And
I
Luna
also
Chimera,
have personal issues with Edgar and Gal, so this was quite fitting.
Yeah, there were a lot of fights where one of your characters was dead, you know, at the end of the battle, too.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially some of those weird grind fights where it's like, surprise, here's some ninjas.
Yeah, you would have wished. Like I had to take those extra fights before I did the South Figaro cave check with Locke to uncurse the shield because he kept dying.
Alright, I think if we throw the shield now, we should be okay. Or that pearl rod.
he could, because Celeste isn't part of the original party, so Celeste isn't important here. So Celeste doesn't make it up. He's no big deal.
Alright, well, Shadow's out of the way at least.
Yeah.
I think Shadow's actually going to be the one to kill him here, because he's jumping with that VK.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So as long as Calmness doesn't go on him...
Clutch block.
Okay, cool.
Beautiful, amazing.
Because those other 2 party members went down and they didn't have their image status anymore.
Saban was the only one there who had image.
Alright, so one more fight, but it's an important one for Luna Chimera. Tier 4, and at least this time he'll get a Gao up that happens to be alive and some decent armor with his force shield still up from his statue fights. Gar, what do you think of Luna Chimera's chances here to finish this out with being 1 character down?
I think it's really good. He's got good offense with Saban there. He will need to
and
heal.
Gao has Phoenix, too.
Gao has Phoenix.
Looking for the Mega Elixir steal.
Unfortunately, this attack here isn't going to do anything. Minimally powered.
Well, we'll add a couple HP to some of Shadow's jumps.
Yes. So, there we go.
Beautiful.
I don't think that he's going to have any issues here with Kefka. But that depends on how badly Kefka wants to counterattack.
Yeah, that's huge. That gets him right back in it. That Fire 3 is not too scary.
You should be coming up on Goner phase pretty soon.
That 4 swings from Saban should have put him in it. And if he can get one more attack off, that's huge because that will push him over into it to where he can be wiped and the character's spread of turns. One, 2. If he could have got a 4th jump out of Shadow, I think Kefka goes down, but he just needs one more turn. Oh, he does that anyways. Yep.
So
math was a little off for the end of the stream, but close enough. And great job, Luna Chimera. Let's see if he wants to join us.
Mathing on stream is hard, man.
Mathing in general is hard, and I'm supposed to do it at work, man.
So it seems like, I guess, from our perspective, and maybe Nobody War, you'll have to vouch for this, that the hardest part of the seed is the vanilla, or rather the shuffled statues, versus all the other stuff.
Oh, definitely. I think in this flag set in general, that's like your main concern the whole time you're playing. You're thinking towards this and, final fight stuff. But yeah.
This will be interesting because I haven't run my race yet, so I now feel.
Oh, have fun, sir.
I now feel like I could do this because I watched.
Yeah. Good time.
Always good time.
Yeah. So let me check. And ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing if Luna Chimera would like to join us. Nope, they're gonna pass.
They're gonna decline.
Looks like they're gonna go do the real thing. So let's throw it up in the chat one more time. The racer command, name look beautiful. If you haven't, go give Nobody a waterfall. We appreciate him restreaming for us tonight. Congratulations and GGs to Honeydew again, our winner. And as Luna Chimera wraps up, he's gonna run his actual Vector Seed for the Battlegrounds event. If you are in the Battlegrounds event and have not run your Vector Seed, obviously do not watch. But everybody else, head on over there and give them all a follow. We appreciate them running for us. And let's give Swanson Gar a follow as well. If you like cheeseburgers spinning in a microwave, you will love Gar's stream. I cannot get enough of it personally. And their links are in the chat as well.
And with that too, you gotta follow Glue because Glue's got that dog in him.
That is true. The people tell me
And
I'm
the
the
Yoshi. On
And
stream.
Yoshi.
Gotta love the
Yeah.
Yoshi.
I'm just waiting for me to get with a hit with a cease and desist about that. I just threw it on there one day, and I haven't gotten banned yet, so we'll see.
But,
So then maybe we shouldn't talk about it. There are no dinosaurs. They went extinct, etc., etc.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not exact sure of the fine print on that because, like, you go to some people's streams and you'll see they'll have, parts from a video game up. So I'm not sure if that's crossing a line. But again, we'll find out if Nintendo ever sues me.
It's fair use. You'll be fine.
Okay, good.
And as always, a big shout out to SpeedGaming for hosting us. We really do appreciate it. But I've got nothing else. I think that this was a pretty phenomenal race. Coming in under 2 hours for this flag set is pretty good, I would say. It's a long one and it's a hard one, especially when you've got the 3 hardest bosses in the game right at the end there. So once again, shout outs to our runners, Lunar Chimera, Nobody War, and Honeydew. Shout outs to Glue and the Schwantz27 for being my co-commentators and setting everything up. Thanks to you, the viewer.
Yeah, I'll throw the command for the viewer, but if you haven't, give each other a follow. Thank you all for chatting with us. We appreciate the commitment and the viewership.
Just a programming note: we will be back on Speed Gaming on Tuesday of next week. So that is that's slightly different than normal.
Actually, are you sure? Because we're probably gonna, raid Vector and kill any hope they have and end this event. So
well, I mean, we'll still be.
yeah, Ultra League will be fine.
We'll still race some races. It just might
Okay.
not be a battleground skirmish. And oh god, let me get this off the stream. Oh god.
I know
Oh,
too
God.
much. I still have to do this.
There we go. I was like, I didn't do mine either, so help.
Gar, have you done your Vector?
I have. I will not say anything about it. So I will only wish you both good luck. May the force be with you, I think is what the characters in Final Fantasy say.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah.
Probably.
You son of a submariner.
Submariner. All right. Glue, Schwantz, what do y'all got?
That's it. Thank you so much, everybody, and we're out of here. Catch you later. Bye-bye now.
Have a good night.
Bye bye.